So my name is Wesahana Pearson. Good afternoon. I'm making a recording for Black Asia Magazine, and I'm talking to this lovely young woman here. Can you please, for the site, tell me your name?
Hello, my name is Jamasian.
Okay. And where are you from? Where did you grow up? And where do you live right now?
So I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but I did move around quite a bit. My parents, being in entertainment, landed in Las Vegas. So that's where I finished high school and university. Right now, I am in Guangzhou, China.
Okay. Can you tell me what kind of entertainment your parents were involved in?
They do music. So my dad he does all of the instruments, drums, piano, everything. My mom, of course, she just sings.
Okay. Yeah, my dad does a lot. My dad was a music teacher, so it's kind of similar.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So how long have you been in Guangzhou, and what do you think of Guangzhou?
In Guangzhou, I've only been here about 9 months. I moved from Shanghai. I came as a student, and I'm working towards my master's in translation. So I was working full-time in Shanghai, but there's a great school here for anyone looking to be a translator or interpreter. And so I moved down to Guangzhou because I like this city much better. And now I do my translations freelance.
All right. So we're gonna talk a little bit later about what you do, but I lived in Shenzhen, as I was telling you, for about 2.5 years. And I love Guangzhou a lot more than I love Shenzhen. What is it that drew you to Guangzhou? What do you like about it?
I feel like Guangzhou is much more authentic, and this is backed by a couple of professors at school. They told me that Guangzhou definitely has the most history. They've kept a lot of their cultural things themselves. Even the language here, which is mainly Cantonese, that is closest to the original Chinese, is what I've been told.
Okay. All right. So because the language that they use now, Mandarin, is, I believe, the Beijing dialect.
Right. Mandarin.
So Cantonese was more widespread before.
Cantonese was more widespread. It belonged to most of the South region, Guangdong province.
Oh yeah, and you're in Guangdong province. Okay. Great. Okay, that's good to know. What made you decide to leave home in the first place? The first time you decided to travel abroad and live abroad, what made you decide to get up? Because like most Americans don't really leave America.
They don't. You know what? This all started from youth, way, way young. I don't even know how young I was when I first began to have ideas that culture really inspires me. It's not so much the different technology and science and things, but culture itself, the way that people think, the way that they do things, it makes me more intrigued, and I always want to learn more. So believe it or not, the Bible was my very first inspiration because we learn about Egyptians, and then bam, from that point on, I wanted to go to Egypt, learn the ancient hieroglyphs and everything. So
you studied hieroglyphics?
I did for a little while, and then when I heard it was a dead language, and as a child, that devastated me, and I gave up.
Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Thank you for just taking some notes right there. Okay. Thank you. Let me see where we're gonna go. So your hometown? Would you say your hometown is Las Vegas, where you spent most of your youth, your younger years?
Not really, no. I still claim Atlanta because no matter where we went, I always went back to Atlanta to go and visit family, or back to the East Coast, I should say, to visit family. My family's pretty big, and we're also big on different cultural aspects, art, the music industry and things like that. So every time I go to the East Coast, I feel that influence of culture. And then on the West Coast, they're slacking. I find it a little stale. I know people are going to be upset. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's the point of what we're doing, just to let it roll and speak freely. Tell me what it was like in Atlanta growing up. Can you relate to me any fond memories or anything that stands out in your mind about your younger years in Atlanta?
You know what? I like the openness of Atlanta. When you're there, you can live in your house and not be fenced in. If you ever have been to Korea, their houses also have this great fence around it. And that's what the West Coast feels like. Everything is boxed in, you do you, and that's it. But in the South, we like to be a community. If you open your door and you see your neighbors right across the street or something, you say hi. Everyone comes to one porch and we talk on it. We have, little block parties, if you will. That for me has always been something that I love. And it's not easy to do. We did try it in Vegas, and a different family that had come from the East Coast, they wanted to implement it, but it died out a little quickly.
Okay. All right. Sense of community. All right. Okay. Good. Thank you for sharing that. So you said you've been to Guangzhou and you came there from Shanghai.
Right.
Where else have you traveled to outside of the United States?
Outside of the States, it's not very much, but I lived in Korea, and Korea, obviously, South. And then I visited Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan. I have visited Mexico and Costa Rica.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you speak any Spanish?
I used to. It's kind of gone now.
Okay.
Sorry.
How long were you in Korea?
I was in Korea for 3 years.
Okay.
I was working.
Okay, so you've been, maybe it even seems like it's not that much, but you've been quite a few places.
After I started traveling, I found other people traveled so much more than me.
Okay. All right. Okay. But so can you tell me, between the place where you grew up, which is Atlanta, and where you live now, how would you say it's different? What are some major contrasts you've noticed? Because it's not very easy for people to step out of their comfort zone and go to the other side of the world. How exactly is it different, and what differences have you noticed?
This is, I feel like both sides, both the East and the West, because if you listen to other people say, oh, the Chinese are really, more sense of community.
I'm sorry, hold on, Jamasian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, go over that one more time. You cut out for a brief moment, and just try to maybe slow it down a little bit slower, please.
Sure. So I was saying that the East has been told that Americans are very filled with a sense of community. So I believe that on a flip side, I think we do feel a sense of community, mostly dependent, but we do still hold on to it. And the East is a little bit individualistic. They do seem more selfish in different ways.
So you mean China over there, they're more individualistic.
Yes. And I feel like we view these things differently. How we describe community is not how they describe community.
They're individual because we're taught the opposite, that they employ a concept of groupthink. And it's like a beehive or an ant colony. And maybe that's one of their strengths, that they're all acting together as one. But you think that that's not actually true.
Yeah, I feel like it's just different. Maybe not untrue or a fallacy, if you will, but the way that they do this group thing is one person has an idea, we all are going to do exactly what they say from A to Z. We won't skip around, we won't add anything new. And for them, oh, we're being a community, we are working together. Whereas in the US, one person has an idea, he tells the other people, and everyone is going to follow his idea, but they will also say, hey, this part doesn't work very well. Let's do it this way so that we can still reach your goal, just in a different way. And for me, that is a community working together, really actually working together.
Okay, all right. So it's like in the East, there's one supreme undisputed leader, and he's the only one who's allowed to think.
Right.
I never thought about it that way, as long as I've been an Asian myself. Okay, cool, groovy. All right, yeah, different. Interesting, thank you. Okay, now tell me, you've been in China for some time. What's your job? What do you do? And try to be as detailed as you can. Explain to me like what you're doing there.
What I am doing is translation, which this is usually written. I take Chinese, whatever they've written for news or maybe for a TV show, and I translate it into English and put that out as an English article as if it was written by someone that is an English speaker. Most of the time, I am doing some type of business work. So something about the financial sector. If a person has called the bank, you know, sometimes they record those phone calls. So a company will say, hey, we have this recorded phone call that we need you to translate, get it on paper so that it can be used maybe in court or maybe just for, you know, higher management. And I will translate everything for them exactly the way that they've said it and then send it back to them. The other part of my job is TV shows, something I really love. TV shows, movies, everyone's favorite anime. Those also come to me, and I do subtitle translations. So they'll send it to me. Obviously, I can't be everywhere. So thank goodness it's 2017 and technology is much better. So they just email the things to me, the items to me, or send it through the cloud. I translate what needs to be done. And obviously I have to change some of the jokes so that American audiences can understand it. And then I send it back and translations are finished.
I did subtitle translation once in the past, and I noticed that it took forever. Do you find that it takes a very long time?
It does take time. It's not like people think where you can just type and go. It does take you having to think about things. Sometimes I need to research and make sure, like I did one ancient Chinese type of TV show, and obviously America's never had a monarchy. So how to call all of the positions was a bit difficult. What do I need to say? How can we say, we don't say brother, hi brother, hey number 9 brother. It was so strange, but we ended up working around that.
Yeah. Okay, it was strange, but you got through it. You did it. You made it work as a bridge.
Right.
Right. Excellent. That sounds very exciting and interesting. Good. Okay. Next question. How do you feel as a Black person, as a Black woman, living and working in this culture in Southern China for yourself?
That's a good question. I feel like a lot of people have negative things to say, but I've had a great experience being Black over here in Asia in general, in China especially. When I go around to the police, if I have questions, if I'm angry, literally shouting at the police, they always say, calm down, here, drink some water. If anyone's been to China, you know, they want you to drink some water, calm down and tell me what happened. And so I've been welcomed here and I'm happy about it. I will say I don't like certain people that if we get into a conflict, they suddenly say, oh, I knew Black people were like this. I heard that rumor that Black people were bad. And I'm always thinking,
Chinese people or other expats?
Chinese people. And they will, and I tell them we have one argument, just one. And all of a sudden all Black people are horrible. And, you know, they think about it and then they usually retract what they've said.
Yeah,
but
call them on it.
It's been great.
What I noticed living there is that there's a difference in the way people think from region to region.
Yes.
Notice that maybe in Guangdong, where you are now, and where you came from, which was Sichuan, what would you say is the difference between people in the two places?
You know what? I feel like the Sichuanese people are very curious about other things and they're not completely knowledgeable, because when I go out, sometimes people say, hey, are you Arab? Hey, are you, somebody thought I was Japanese. There's all kinds of things that they will say and they're just not sure, but they're always willing to learn. Whereas here in the Guangdong province, they feel like they already know, because there's, you know, they've seen a lot more international people, because this was the first place to be open to the outside world. So they're like, we know exactly who you are, where you came from. We don't have any questions. And then all of a sudden they're like, things that you say don't match up with what I'm thinking about.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so tell me one thing that you really enjoy about living there in China.
One thing I really enjoy, you know, I would have to say it's the different choices of food, their cuisine.
Okay.
I I like to cook myself, but China has so many different styles of cooking depending on the region, depending on the background culture of the region.
Mhm.
And although they do use a lot of oil and
Yeah.
it seems like a staple almost, but
I understand
there's
from history that it was the oil enriches the food in terms of like vitamins or something like that.
they they just don't believe there's any other way to cook thoroughly. They just think that this is the best way to have things cooked. But they do use a lot of different spices, and depending on where you go, certain cultures like sweet food, they like salty food. So I like to be able to experience all the different types of cuisine, and it's never limited to just Chinese. They like to. There's a lot of different foreign places here as well. So international French, you have Italian places. I guess I'm a foodie. I like to do this part of my life.
Of course, as it is with everyone. Okay.
Hmm.
Now moving a little bit ahead, I contacted you because I know you created a Facebook page called
Yes,
Brothers and Sisters in China.
yes.
When did you create it? Why did you create it? And what is it kind of geared towards? What can I gain or acquire from looking at this page?
I am not sure if you've heard of it or not, but my group is only a sister group to the original Brothers and Sisters of Korea, South Korea. So we call it the BSSK.
Mhm,
And we like to call her Queen Shaw, but she
mhm.
might get a little upset about it.
Who is
But
that? Who is Queen Shaw?
Queen Shaw is the original creator of BSSK, and it was a group to help Black people get together and start their expat journeys,
Mhm.
obviously in South Korea, but always if we have questions about going somewhere else or if we needed help with immigration type of things, all questions are free to be asked in those groups, and then we help people find jobs if they need them. It's really a group that it moves with the people. Whatever the people want, they have to create it for that direction. If no one talks in the group, then it becomes useless. But the more that you do in the group, the more that you will be able to find out and learn about the place that you want to live in.
Okay. All right. So you wanted to create a page that was similar to that page for China.
Right.
Okay. When did you create your page?
This page was created maybe in 2013, I believe, 2012 or 13.
Okay, all right. And what has the response been like? Have you found there are a lot of people who are members of your page who go to your page for information?
Yes, there's been an increase. When it first started, it was very slow because people don't believe that we can use Facebook in China. And there are ways.
Right. You need a VPN from what I understand. Is that the only way?
Yeah, that's the only way, unless you're in the special economic zone.
Shenzhen.
So I think there's a space in Shenzhen and a space in Shanghai, like a literal certain area, a certain block that you have to be on. But yeah, it's we are able to use it. So people have been asking more questions. I've also tried to put up articles and things to get people interested. Some of the members from BSSK have joined and they already know what to do. So they've been really helpful in fueling the fire. And now we have so many members. I don't even remember how many, but it's looking good.
Easy enough to just take a look and see. As far as the information that people are asking for and the information that you find yourself posting, normally what kind of information is that?
A lot of it is the visa. The visa rules change here sometimes on a whim, so that's very normal. But
Okay.
also, the top question is, what should I bring? What do I need? Because I heard they don't have X, Y, and Z. And
Okay.
then obviously, we also like to post different information about different cities. So China's really huge. It's really huge. You
Yeah.
can't come here and think that you're going to have the same thing from Chengdu to Shenzhen to Shanghai. They're all different.
Yeah.
And
I know.
we don't all live in the big cities either. Some of the people in the group live in small cities, and it's great for them to give their perspective because they enjoy themselves. They like it. They don't need to have a McDonald's or a Starbucks on every block.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Looking forward, looking towards the future, what are your plans? Is there anything that you have coming up that you want to do or get accomplished? What's going to happen now and after this?
I'm still working towards my master's. It's this major of translation and interpreting is quite intense. I want to be able to do both, and they're two completely different skills, as interpreting requires you to speak and just you have to hear whatever it is and produce it in the next language almost immediately.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. I do escort interpreting now, but I want to be able to conference interpret or do something for business meetings in the future.
What is escort interpreting? I'm sorry to cut you off, but what is?
No, that's fine. Escort interpreting is when I accompany a client to his different meetings around the city or to conventions or shows or something like that. It means that I stay by your side as a secretary almost all day. So when you go to the meetings, I help you out in the meetings by interpreting. If you need to catch a taxi and suddenly go to a dinner and meet, network, then I help you go out and network. That is escort. It has nothing to do with the other.
I know. Yeah, I understand that. Didn't want you to miss.
I want to make that clear.
If I want people who listen to this to get an idea of like what your job is, if they might also need that service.
Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Wow. Would you consider yourself an unusually brave person to get up and move all the way, not just to China, but Shanghai is known and Beijing is known. You were quite far into the interior. Would you consider yourself?
Right.
That takes quite a bit of chutzpah, whatever you want to call it. So you have to have something in your gut that made you go there.
Maybe I'm just a little off. I have different ideas from other people, and it's always started with my love of language, which is why I also started a nonprofit group that will help Black people to learn different languages, encourage you to go out there and do it, and give you the resources to start.
You holding out on me, man. You said what is it? Say if I hadn't asked you that, you would not have told me about the nonprofit group. Is that something you also? Where is it? Like, is it based?
The nonprofit. I'm starting the nonprofit in Las Vegas, but obviously I do want it to take off and go throughout our 50 states. Okay. It's something for the Americas because we are lacking so far behind. We lag so far behind in language and being internationally competitive. Okay. So that's what I want to establish. It's the Multilingual Black American Foundation.
Oh, okay. Say one more time. Multilingual Black American Foundation.
Yes, Multilingual Black American Foundation.
Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. Is there any other like non-for-profit NGO website you have tucked away that you would like to express to me?
That's all that I've got so far.
Right now. Okay. Anything else you'd like to share? Anything like to throw out there, or any comments or concerns? Anything?
I would like to say that I'm very proud of all of us out here that are overseas, no matter what country we're in working. We seem to be very helpful to each other. Don't believe the hype of other people about different racism and things like that. Come on over and experience for yourself because we're here. We're here and we're waiting for you, really. Really.
Wow, wonderful. Very positive. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let me hit stop.